Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Run in the Paint recap. I'm Miles here with Ben. Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great and I'm doing great. I had a great graduation party with Miles and some other guys today, and it was a good finals game 7 that I really enjoyed watching.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Yesterday, game 7 of the NBA Finals. This is going to be the final Run in the Paint recap for the 2024-25 season, man. And boy, was it a fun one. And it was capped off by an entertaining game 7 where the Oklahoma City Thunder win the 2025 NBA championship by defeating the Pacers 103-91 in game 7 to win their first championship in the Oklahoma City era. Ben, this was a very entertaining game, but unfortunately, we can't talk about the Thunder winning the finals to start off with. We have to talk about the unfortunate injury in the first quarter. Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers, after getting off to an incredible start, hitting three-pointers in the first 7 minutes that he was out there, goes down with what looks to be an Achilles injury. At the time of recording this, we have no confirmation on what the injury actually is, but it looked like he re-aggravated the right calf injury on a drive to the rim, and it looks like it is going to be a torn Achilles injury. And Ben, this just, for really the rest of that first quarter, we were all kind of taken aback there watching the game because I mean, out of all the scenarios that could have played out in this game, this is the last one we would have wanted to see happen.
Yeah, it was the last one I wanted to see. I'm just really devastated when I saw that happen. Oh, just brutal to watch. He got off to such a hot and aggressive start too. Finally, for once, and then that happened. Oh, just brutal. Prayers out to Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers with this, and yeah, thinking unfortunately it's probably going to be a torn Achilles, and yeah, it's not too great for the Pacers next year, unfortunately. But I think it was the right move for Tyrese Halliburton to play and be out there even before he suffered this injury.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to regret playing in this game at all. I don't think he regretted playing in game 6 because, I mean, we all know that with those injuries, there's a risk with the strained calf injuries. We saw 6 years ago in the finals, 2019, when Kevin Durant tried to play for Golden State with the calf injury and he tore his Achilles in game 5 against Toronto. But, in this situation, on even kind of bigger stage here, Game 7 of the NBA Finals in one of the greatest playoff runs in NBA history that the Pacers have gone on. You you can't pass on this moment. You never know when you're going to be able to play in this type of game again with one win away from an NBA championship for your franchise, for yourself individually, for the city, for the fans, for your family. So had to be out there, and it was just unfortunate. I mean, it really sucks, especially because for the entire playoffs, in this series, we talked about how important it was going to be for Tyrese Halliburton to be aggressive, looking for his shot from the start of the game. Because when he isn't shooting the ball, things don't go well for the Pacers all playoffs. When they lose, it's usually because he doesn't shoot a lot of shots. In this game, he came out looking for his shot. He took 5 shots in the 7 minutes he was out there. 4 of them were threes, and he knocked down 3 of them, had 9 points, didn't have any assists, but I was fine with that. He was looking for his own shot. So he was looking amazing, about as great as you possibly could, and then goes down with an injury. I mean, it really was just unfortunate. Um, and like you said, it's going to have a big impact on the Pacers moving forward, but we'll get to that in a little while here. After the Halliburton injury, Indiana, even though Halliburton is an incredible player, all NBA, and he's been one of the clutchest players in playoff history with the run that he's been on this season, Pacers had enough to win one game. I kept saying that when we were watching the game. I'm like, all right, this stinks, but the Pacers still have enough to win one game in this situation. And for the rest of the first half, they hung in there very, very well. They actually led the game at halftime. Ben, what did you think of how the Pacers withstood the Halliburton injury in the first half?
So, like you said, they hung in really well for the rest of the first half. They survived the rest of the first half and somehow had a 1 point lead at halftime. That was great. But I was proud of the Pacers for, continuing the fight on and rallying, giving it all they could, even after Halliburton went down. And unfortunately, it just got so tough on them in the second half, and they just ended up falling short.
Yeah, I mean, they had that 1 point lead at halftime, and then OKC just put the clamps on in the third quarter. The turnovers, I mean, the third quarter was really the difference in the game. The Pacers had 7 turnovers, Thunder didn't have a single one, and the Pacers got outscored 34-20. And that was really the difference in the game right there. And the Pacers just couldn't really get any sort of offense going besides TJ McConnell. Again, he's going crazy in these games. Had 12 straight points for Indiana in the third quarter, 6 for 7 from the field. And he was the only thing that was keeping Indiana in striking distance as OKC was going on their run. But, even he had 7 turnovers. I mean, OKC started to double team him once he started to get across half court. And he started to have a little bit of trouble. I mean, the Thunder played about as perfect of a third quarter as you could defensively. And then that stretch to start the fourth when they led by as many as 21.
Yeah, I agree with you with that on the Thunder defense. Just amazing in the third quarter. It blew me away just how good they were able to clamp up Pacers guys, as you said, and Luke Dort, Alex Caruso, uh, Casey Wallace, just everybody was making an impact defensively and doing phenomenal at locking up the opposing players they were guarding. Just an unbelievable defensive team effort there in the second half in Game 7.
Yep, and they shut off basically the water for all the Pacers starters that were still out there. Siakam struggled in this game. The Thunder did a great job defensively. This is a game where the Pacers kind of needed Siakam to show up. He really didn't throughout the game. Miles Turner only had one shot attempt in the second half. Nemhard only made one shot in the second half. Neesmith fouls out for the third time this series. Obi Toppin didn't do much. I mean, they really didn't go to a whole lot besides TJ McConnell and Benedict Mathurin, who were both really good off the bench. I mean, they were their 2 best players in a game 7 of the finals. 2 bench players led the Pacers and allowed them to fight in this game. But let's talk about the OKC Thunder getting it done, winning this game 7. And they were able to take care of the basketball against this Pacers defense that was just so stifling in game 6, where, Indiana, that was a dominant win for them to force this game 7 back in OKC. This game, OKC made the necessary adjustments, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, didn't shoot well. 8 for 27 from the field, got most of his points at the line like he normally does, 29 points. But the 12 assists to 1 turnover, absolutely enormous. We were talking with Joey on the previous podcast previewing this game 7, and he kept pointing out those assist to turnover numbers where there have been some games where he's like, all right, 4 assists, 6 turnovers. The game 3 or game 4 where he had 0 assists and some turnovers. This game, he got his teammates going, and did it efficiently. Again, 12 assists to 1 turnover. The MVP found a way to have an incredible game despite not shooting the ball well. And that's what you need from your superstars in games like this.
Yeah, SGA just unbelievable taking care of the basketball, but getting his teammates involved by dishing out a lot of passes that led to being assists. Their passes but with the baskets, and yeah, he had another great game. He did a great job at getting to the free throw line once again, like he does, and I credit SGA for that. That's smart of him with trying to draw contact and get to the free throw line. That's just smart basketball playing, and I don't hate him for the way he goes about that.
Yeah, and a lot of other people do. We were with some of those people at our watch party. But I agree. It's a smart way of playing, especially in these games. I mean, in these types of defensive-minded games, which it really was for the entirety, your star player is typically going to not shoot well and get to the free throw line. Historically, we've seen that from like Kobe, from LeBron, in games like this, even like a Giannis. They may not shoot the ball well, but they're going to get to the free throw line a lot just because they're being aggressive, going to the rim and drawing the contact. His co-star, J-Dub, didn't shoot the ball well either. 20 points on 7 of 20 shooting, but he had timely buckets that were huge. He got a nice soft roll on a couple jumpers there in the third quarter, but they were huge. Every single shot that they hit, like, just propelled them. I mean, the stretch where the game started to break open for them was in that third quarter where it's a tied game, and then they get 3 straight threes from J-Dub, Chet Holmgren, and Shea to get it up to a 9-point lead, and the Pacers really couldn't cut into that much, after that. J-Dub was good, Shea was good, but big, props to Chet Holmgren for his incredible game 7. He's had a pretty rough finals, all things considered. He put it together in this game on both ends of the floor. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, Ben. I mean, his defense was huge.
Yeah, Chet made some big and super good blocks, and he made a big presence in the paint. He made things tough on the Pacers when they were trying to shoot shots down low, and he rebounded well. And overall, the nice game made a big impact as well.
Yep, he was huge. Hartenstein, I thought, had some big rebounds. I mean, once again, the Thunder do a great job on the glass. As far as getting some offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities, especially in the fourth quarter, where credit to the Pacers. After trailing by 21, we're all thinking, shout out to your dad, Mister Axelrod, turning off the lights. He wanted to turn off the lights, and because the game was over. Pacers, like we've seen time and time again, made a run forcing turnovers, got to the free throw line a lot. It was really Benedict Mathurin just driving to the rim, getting free throws. Pacers got back into the game, but OKC was able to get, second chance opportunities, run some clock a little bit more, and, able to come out with this victory because of that. OKC just made the plays down the stretch. And once again, it was the third quarter. I think the third quarter played a huge difference in this ball game where they got outscored by 14. Without that, Indiana looked pretty good for this game. It was the third quarter that just killed them.
Yeah, third quarter, it was just fortunate how they fell apart, and they ended up, you know, really struggling offensively. There was that long stretch where they only were getting points for TJ McConnell and no one else, and yeah, that just really didn't help them. And they eventually got down by as much as like 21 points, I believe, in that third quarter, and that just really costed them. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, you mentioned that 13-minute stretch where TJ McConnell was the only pacer to score. I mean, this is game 7 of the finals, and we had that from TJ McConnell. Incredible stuff, man. And it was only 12 points in a 13-minute stretch. I mean, it shows what the Thunder were able to do defensively in this game. I mean, Wallace and Caruso were good defensively, as you mentioned there, Ben. They had 6 steals combined between the two of them. They also hit some timely shots. Caruso, right when he came into the game, hit a couple threes, which were huge. He nearly had a monster putback slam off an offensive rebound. Wasn't able to get it to go. But Cason Wallace was huge with his threes in the second half. And they grabbed 4 offensive rebounds off the bench, 4 of their 5 offensive rebounds for Caruso and Wallace. were offensive boards. So everyone played a part in this game. Everyone chipped in, and that's really been the story of OKC here throughout these playoffs, and their role and the way that they've played all season long. And I think we should take some time here to talk about OKC's road to get to this point because this year's obviously been incredible. One of the best in NBA history, 68 wins, number one seed, one of the best defensive teams that we've ever seen. Or I don't know what we've ever seen, but in the last several years, this has been an elite defensive team in all-time defense. But I mean, this started, as we all know, 6 years ago when they went into a rebuild when they had Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Things weren't really going so well. They couldn't get out of the first round. They traded both of those guys to really start to hit the reset button. They got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They got a bunch of first round picks. One of them became Jalen Williams, and that really set off their entire rebuild. And it has been an incredible run to watch them. Ben, you and me being impartial NBA fans. We're not Thunder fans, but it's been fun to watch them build this team really from the ground up. Over the last 6 seasons.
Yeah, it has been really fun, and it gets to show you that the Patriots from Sam Presti with building this team over time just really paid off. It really paid off this championship, and Sam Presti deserves to celebrate and really enjoy it. A huge part of why they won the night is just the way he went about with rebuilding the team. It was just an unbelievable job there by Sam Presti.
Yeah, and over the years, it was just steady progression. I mean, the year where they got Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook, I mean, it was perfect. He was able to mentor Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in what was then his second year, and allow him to kind of flourish with another guard in there. Dennis Schroeder as well. Steven Adams was still there. They had a good team that year. Then that's when in the summer of 2020, after they lost to the Rockets in the bubble, that's when they really started to scrap everything and start really acquiring a bunch of first round picks each year. And each year we saw Shea grow, Lou Dort grow during those years. There was one year where he averaged like 17 points per game as like a good 3-point shooter and a great defensive player. But then the draft picks that they started to use on very good players in 2021, drafting or excuse me 2022, drafting both Chet Holmgren and J-Dub in the same draft. Huge. Next year, they draft Cason Wallace with a lottery pick. And last year, they're the number one seed in the Western Conference unexpectedly. I don't think I even had them as a playing team going into last season. I was dead wrong on that. They were the number one seed in the West. Lost in the second round because they didn't have the size. And they addressed that this summer. They trade for Alex Caruso. They sign Isaiah Hartenstein, and everything just came together. Shea wins the MVP. He wins the Finals MVP after having an incredible series, incredible season. Um, and everyone just was amazing. I mean, J-Dub, a first-time All-Star. Lou Dort, all-defensive player. J-Dub, an all-defensive player. Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, all-defensive caliber if they played more. Chet Holmgren could be a star one day. This was just his second playing season, and the veterans were perfect. So, like you said, Sam Presti deserves a lot of credit for his patience, his drafting, and not, you know, panicking really when it seems like things aren't going the way that they're supposed to. And it's a big reason why they are now the 2025 NBA champions.
Yeah, I agree. Just really impressive how far the Thunder came along over the years, and yeah, it just seemed like every year leading up to this year, they just got better and better and better each year. So yeah, what a rebuild, and now they got more years to compete and try and build off of this title by hopefully winning more titles and building a potential dynasty.
Absolutely. This is still one of the youngest teams in the league. Might be the youngest team in the league, actually. Second youngest to make the finals. Definitely the youngest to win a finals. And, all these guys still well before their prime, besides Shea, of course. But J-Dub, this was just his third year. Chet's second playing season. Cason Wallace's second season. Aaron Wiggins, I think this was his fourth year. I mean, just a lot of young guys, and they have a young coach as well. Mark Daigneault also deserves a lot of credit for the way that he is, coached this team. He's one of the great young coaches in the league. And something that I don't think he gets enough credit for just how great of a coach he is because a lot of championship teams, you look at the head coach and say, oh well, they just had that coach was just gifted with great players, and they don't give as much credit to the coach as they should. And yes, Mark Daigneault was able to develop these players, and they turned into amazing all-star players on his team. But Mark Daigneault also improved as a coach. He is one of the few coaches um in the league that was able to be both a developmental coach during a rebuild and transition to being a championship caliber coach when the team was ready to be competitive. I mean, Ben, how many times over the last few seasons have we seen guys like, let's see, JB Bickerstaff, Tom Thibodeau, Mark Jackson for the Warriors, maybe Taylor Jenkins for the Grizzlies this year, where they're good coaches, they're good developmental coaches, but when it's time to make the next step, they're not the guy for the job, and the team has to look for somebody else. For OKC, Mark Daigneault has been able to be the coach from the start of this rebuild to the title, and that I think is really special. And Daigneault deserves a lot of credit for being a very versatile head coach.
Oh yeah, I definitely give him a lot of credit for that. Yeah, just thinking back on that, yeah, that's really impressive from him. And yeah, some other coaches like JB Bickerstaff just haven't totally have been able to have done that yet, but maybe JB Bickerstaff will be able to do it with the Pistons. Who knows? And kind of a similar thing as the Thunder. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
yeah, we'll have to see with coaches like that. There are other good, solid young coaches like Jamal Mosley for Orlando is another one that maybe could be in the same position where he's a good head coach to bring the Magic up from this rebuild. We'll see how they do in their first year of having real expectations now with getting Desmond Bain. But either way, Mark Daigneault has been a guy that has been able to be the head coach from development to championship. I guess guys like Michael Malone were able to do that as well recently. Joe Mazzulla kind of just he got there when they were already a championship caliber team. So it doesn't happen a whole lot. So I think he just deserves a lot of credit for being one of the youngest coaches and being a very versatile guy to lead that team. Incredible year for Shea Gilgeous Alexander. I mean, this should be talked about as one of the great individual seasons in league history. I mean, scoring leader, MVP, finals MVP, NBA champion. I mean, he's the first guy to have those accolades, MVP scoring title and NBA champion and finals MVP in 25 years since Shaquille O'Neal did it for the first Lakers title in their three-peat. So this is really one of the best seasons as a team in history for OKC, but individually, Shea had one of the best years in NBA history.
Yeah, that's really unbelievable for Shea. It's so hard for guys to be able to do all of that, and it just goes to show you how unbelievable of a player he is. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Great
no
to see
question about it.
that.
So yeah. So congratulations to the 2025 NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Now let's take a little bit of time to talk about the team that came up one game short, the Indiana Pacers, man. I'll tell you what, even though they lost in the NBA finals, one of the great playoff runs that we have seen. I mean, as far as best playoff runs by or I should say most unexpected playoff runs, Ben, what do you think this would rank to? What do you think would rival this 2025 Indiana Pacers run that we saw this year from them? You know, like I saw at the beginning of the season, 17th best odds to win the title, fourth seed in the East, and they go to the finals and take the 68 win Thunder to game 7. Where does this rank among the best playoff runs, unexpected runs that you've seen?
Well, I think it's got to be up there with another run that Rick Carlisle did, which was with the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. And I mean, now outside of that Mavericks team, I can't really think of anyone else now. Maybe eventually I will, but man, yeah, even though the Pacers fell just short, it was unbelievable how they were able to even take the super good Thunder team to a game seven still. And yeah, it was an incredible playoff run. Just wow, what a season for the Pacers. And game seven, yeah, that didn't end the season in the way they totally wanted it to, but they should definitely be proud of the season that they had. And even with the fortunate Halliburton injury, they should still look forward to the future.
No question about it. This would probably, I mean, as far as unexpected runs, that 2011 Mavericks team, you're definitely right. This definitely rivals that. We talked about that on this podcast. The '04 Pistons as well, 2004 Detroit Pistons that won the title with all those guys against the Kobe Shaq Lakers when they got even Gary Payton, Karl Malone. That rivals that as well. Um, how about as far as favorite playoff teams and runs of all time? Because I don't know about you. I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess I do. It's just the Indiana Pacers. So all right, let me reset here. So I have been an NBA fan, like a diehard NBA fan for the last, we'll say 9 seasons, where right after these guys won the finals, that got me in love with this sport that we're covering, mostly every single day and that I've fallen in love with. And amongst the 9 playoff teams and runs that I have been a witness to, besides the Cavaliers and their runs to the finals, this Pacers team, I think, is my favorite finals run or playoff run that I have seen as a fan. Even though one of the teams they had to go through was our Cavs in one of the best years of the franchise history. This Pacers team, with the way that they played on both ends of the floor, offensively, moving the ball, getting everyone involved, defensively, just making things tough, picking up full court, forcing turnovers, just making things tough. And of course, the comebacks and the heroics from Tyrese Halliburton. This 2025 Pacers run is my favorite playoff run of the last 9 years since I've been a fan. What do you think?
Yeah, outside of the 2016 Cavs one, which that was obviously my favorite out of those years, I would say, yeah, the Pacers one's got to be up there. It was an unbelievable run, and all those game winners from Halliburton. Oh my goodness, that was just so fun. The incredible comebacks, oh, so fun too. Yeah, it was just an unbelievable postseason for the Pacers, and they really surpassed people's expectations in the playoffs this year. Also, I did really enjoy the 2019 Raptors run too. That was unbelievable too. That's also up there as one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I had to rank like top 3 favorite playoff runs from the last few years, and since I've been a fan, this Pacers run would be number one. That Raptors is probably number two. Also, because I mean, us as Cavs fans having to go up against the stacked Golden State Warriors during their dynasty, got to see them go down to the Raptors, even though they had injuries. That was fun. And then also underratedly, the number three for me would be the Phoenix Suns 2021 finals run. I really love the Suns that season as well. Obviously, things not worked out since then, and we'll talk about that on our full podcast that we'll have out on Tuesday. But yeah, man, the Pacers, this Pacers run has been my favorite, and each of those game winners, I can recall where I was at for each of them in the first round. Where I'm still, at school. I think this was my last day of my sophomore year at college, and I'm in my radio station at school. Shout out to 88.9 WRDL, all those guys out there. I'm in there watching the end of the game with shout out to Ethan, Brett, Lewis, Bryce on the TV. We're watching the game, and Ethan is a Bucks fan, and it was incredible. We're like, all right, the game's over. We're going back to Milwaukee for game 6. and then Halliburton goes crazy, and that ends up happening. Round 2 against the Cavs, I'm at the game, and it is the most heartbreaking loss I've ever been to as a fan. I just sat in my seat with my head on the chair in front of me for like it seemed like 10 minutes after the game. It was like 2 minutes. But and then conference finals against the Knicks in game 1 with the Neesmith run. I'm watching down here with my dad at the end of the game, and then same for the finals in game 1. So it was just an incredible run that I will always remember. So shout out to this Indiana Pacers team. I doubted you in the offseason. I doubted you during the season, but since the calendar flipped, they've been one of the best teams in the league. They showed it in the playoffs, and it's been my favorite playoff run since I've been an NBA fan. So shout out to the Pacers for their incredible run. Ben, for you, what impressed you the most about what the Pacers were able to do in these playoffs?
Ooh, good question. For me, I gotta say their resilience as a team just unbelievable. Even when things got tough, it was like oh, they probably wouldn't be able to come back. They just found the way to keep fighting and not give up and come back. The resilience of that team and the way they just keep giving and keep fighting is what really impresses me. And they just really showed up to the playoffs. They just looked even better in the playoffs. They came out and played great at the right time. Almost won the championship. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd probably say that as well. I mean, it was such an incredible run. I will say though, because I mean, this is something that we'll probably hit on a lot during the offseason because with this Halliburton injury, I feel like once again, we are going to have NBA fans and Pacers fans find a way to diminish the Thunder winning this finals because was off to such a great start and got injured in game 7 and say that this championship doesn't count. There's an asterisk on this championship. There can be an asterisk on every champion every single year. I mean, Ben, injuries happen every single year. You know this. I mean, if we could have, would have, should have in every single series, if we did every if, then the entire history of the league would be different. We wouldn't have the league that we have today. I mean, every fan base has those that they can go to. I look to for the Pacers would they have won game 7 if Halliburton stayed healthy and didn't have the injury? Maybe, maybe not. We have no way to tell. When Halliburton got injured, the game was tied. So it's not like the Pacers were off to some crazy start and then he got hurt. And I'll go back to I said it during our watch party. Go back to the end of game 4. If the Pacers didn't blow the end of game 4, then there wouldn't be this situation where the Pacers have to play in a game 7 where Halliburton can re-aggravate the calf injury that he had in game 5. So there's no asterisk on this championship. The Thunder were the best team all season long, and they won this series, injury or no injury. I mean, fair and square. They're the champs.
yeah. Game 4 turned out to be huge for this series. After seeing this all played out, yeah, just really disappointed the Pacers blew that one. That really came back to cost them, I think. But
Yeah, and that
I put OKC to win game 7 right before the game. So, yeah, I wasn't too surprised by what the Thunder done. And, I thought they were going to have Halliburton the whole game, the Pacers. I didn't know he was going to get down with an injury. I was thinking even if Halliburton was playing the whole time that the Thunder had a good shot to win just because of how good they were defensively and that I was thinking Thunder, were playing well enough offensively and they're on their home floor too. I mean, that crowd was just wow, incredible. One of
oh
the
yeah.
best home crowds I've seen. One of the best game environments I've seen in the NBA tonight in that game 7.
Yeah, shout out to all those fans in Oklahoma City. To me, they are the best fans in the NBA with how they show out for it being such a small market. They show out for every game, and in this, I mean, I don't think a single Thunder fan sat during the game. It was absolutely incredible. The atmosphere, the blue out is just so gorgeous when they do it. I mean, just shout out to those incredible fans. But yeah, so for the Pacers, I guess last thing before we get out of here, for the Pacers, we've done this with every team that's been eliminated. What do you think their mindset should be in the offseason? Now, of course, everything changes now that Tyrese Halliburton likely is going to be out for all next season with an Achilles injury. Again, we don't know what it's going to be, but it's looking like that is going to be the case. What should they look to do? I mean, they are set to basically have the same team. Miles Turner is an unrestricted free agent, so we'll see what type of money he gets. I'm guessing he'll be back in Indiana because he had, some good moments. And he's, of course, been there his entire career, and he was one game away from being a championship center. Besides that, Isaiah Jackson, their normal backup center, missed it all with an Achilles injury. And Thomas Bryant, who they picked up, they're unrestricted free agents. And then Ben Matherin will be up for a rookie scale extension. Ben, what do you think the Pacers should look to do in this summer?
Yeah, so I'm guessing, unfortunately, Halliburton probably has a torn Achilles. So, yeah, that's tough. It's going to be tough thinking about now this summer. I'm guessing that, yeah, he's probably going to be out for most of next year. I mean, what can we really do? And, yeah, I don't really think there's a ton the Pacers are going to do that really they should do this offseason to shake up the roster. I mean, they could make some smaller additions to the depth, some backup guys, I'm thinking, but that's really all. I just think, they're going to need to still bring back most of their guys, maybe make a few changes and just try to compete the best they can next year.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern Conference is going to be wide open. Even with Halliburton injured, with Tatum injured, Pacers are still a good team. I think that, depending on the moves the Celtics make, I still think they're going to be a good team. I don't think their roster will look entirely different. I think they'll keep Turner. They'll retain one of the centers as the backup, maybe two of them in case something like this happens again, where they have a bunch of injuries. And then Matherin, I guess you have to sign the extension before the season starts. So I think they'll give him an extension, and then we'll get to see a trial run if Halliburton is out. Probably with Matherin starting at the 2. We'll probably see Andrew Nemhard be the starting point guard for the Pacers starting next year with Matherin and Neesmith together, and then Siakam and Turner if he resigns. And we'll see how far that can take the Pacers in the season. I mean, if they play like they did in the playoffs with their two-way play, they'll still be a good team because they are so deep at every position. And they still have Rick Carlisle, who's a mastermind of a head coach. He's proved to be, after this year, he's risen back up the ranks as one of the best coaches in the business. So they'll be fine next year. I don't think that they'll be back here, next year, but I think that they will be good, even with the injury.
Yeah, I agree. And, yeah, shout out Rick Carlisle. He's got to be up there now as one of the all-time great NBA coaches. Even though you lost in the finals, man, the coaching all throughout this playoff run was just unbelievable for Rick Carlisle. It's so impressive how he took this team all the way into the finals like he did. Like, amazing. Like, just, rivals the run he did with the 2011 Mavericks, as I said. And, yeah, he did a great job in Dallas when he was there. He's done a great job in Indiana. So, he definitely deserves a lot of credit.
No question about it. Well, tomorrow morning, we are going to have the full Run in the Paint podcast crew with Nick and Joey as well to discuss this game, get their thoughts on OKC winning the finals, what the Halliburton injury means for maybe the Thunder championship and moving forward. And Ben, we also had a blockbuster trade on the day of game 7 of the finals. We will talk about Kevin Durant and the trade to the Houston Rockets and what that means for the Rockets and for the Western Conference, as well as preview the 2025 NBA draft, which is on Wednesday. Absolutely incredible. We're shifting right back. The NBA draft, the first round will be on Wednesday, starts at 8 o'clock on ABC and ESPN from Brooklyn. And we'll talk with Nick because he's got his mock draft out. So make sure you go check that out on Coach Cove's B-ball breakdowns. He does a mock draft of the draft lottery. Very good. Definitely make sure to check it out. As someone that doesn't watch a whole lot of college basketball. I learned a lot from that video and from doing some research across the board as well. So we'll be back on Tuesday to discuss everything that we discussed here today and more. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Ben, final recap of the season, man. It is in the books. You have anything else before we get out of here and move on to the off season?
Yeah, I can't believe it's the final recap. Another season that went by fast, but it was another great season, a great fun. So I really appreciated that. And yeah, you should definitely try to watch Tuesday morning's episode as well. It's gonna be loaded. We'll have the full crew, a lot of stuff to talk about. I can't wait for that too. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and excited to have a start the off season with Ben on the board as well on the podcast. We do a lot of now that we're past the playoffs, we can get back into some games and more rankings and stuff like that during the summer when there's less stuff to do. So excited to have you on for all those, and excited to get into the first off season podcast on Tuesday. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that once again. But thank you so much. If you're still at this point, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you did enjoy and want to see more, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.